I'm Beau Maddox.
I'm Robert Ortegon.
This is Collateral Cinema.
What makes you think you can bullshit your way into my head? Like every other pencil-neck piece of shit.
Why are you torturing me like this? Why? What is this anyway? Some kind of goddamn comic book?
Welcome to Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters, where we focus on good movies, bad movies, and everything else in between in the world of cinema. We're podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420-friendly podcast. So smoke 'em if you got it, my friends. Whatever you have, blunts, bowls, dabs, whatever. Right, Robert?
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, smoke it if you got it. And you definitely want to get high for this one, y'all. This is an episode that we have just been anticipating for a while now. This is a legendary movie. Legendarily awesome. Legendarily bad. But, oh man, it's memorable. And of course, we are talking about Tommy Wiseau's 2003 alleged drama, The Room. What do you think, Robert?
Oh, yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I just recently showed Robert this movie for the first time, and oh man, that was quite an experience. I mean, unfortunately, it was one of those YouTube videos that was a little sped up, you know, because of the copyright infringement and everything, but it was still really, really funny. It's like the umpteenth time that I've seen it, but I mean, it was the first time you've seen it, right?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Really was.
It's great seeing people's reaction to it the first time. Like, honestly, like, that's really a treat, you know? I mean, just when you get down to just Tommy Wiseau himself,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, that right, just him right there is just, that's reason enough to watch the movie. I mean, he's practically like a weird vampire / alien humanoid thing.
Fabio, whatever.
yeah. Like Bizarro Fabio, like Nostalgia Critic said, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. By the way, we love y'all, Doug. We love y'all, Rob. Straight up.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Hell yeah. But this movie, I first saw it on the Adult Swim April Fool's prank when they first actually brought it to everyone's attention. I mean, this is pretty much what made this movie what it is, you know? I mean, of course, it was very heavily edited. I mean, they had to box out a lot of stuff, but even so, I mean, it still had impact. I mean, just the music and the sex scenes alone, like that sold it enough. Like even on goddamn Adult Swim.
Could not stop laughing the whole time.
And I mean, they did that like for 3 years running. I think like third or fourth year, that's when they played like maybe the first 20 or 30 minutes of the movie, and then they switched over to a Toonami revival, which is still ongoing to this day. So you should totally watch Toonami, people. By the way, like totally. But, I mean, this movie, to me, it's almost like a stroke of genius, like a backwards genius in a way, right?
Yeah. I guess an artist trying to figure out what he's trying to do with the whole thing, really.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and he was going about it in a way that is just, like, nobody has ever really approached making a movie like Tommy Wiseau did and his cast and crew. I mean, these guys, I mean, they were just trying to make the best out of just the worst. And apparently Tommy Wiseau himself, he was kind of oblivious to the type of movie he was actually making. Like, I mean, of course, later on he allegedly played it up as a black comedy, you know, after, you know, people started laughing at it.
Bad reviews,
you know?
maybe.
Yeah. But, I mean, in the end, I do believe that he was trying to be kind of sincere with what he was doing.
It's your first movie, right?
Yeah, he was trying to put sincerity. It's just Tommy Wiseau, man. Oh man! Like, by the way, we were supposed to have a couple of our coworkers here on the podcast, the Chancellor brothers, Ash and Dakota. They're huge fans of this movie. I mean, I might even put a little message from them here near the end or something. I don't know.
They would have been perfect for this.
They would have been perfect for this. I mean, they're huge fans of it, and like especially Ash. I mean, we're quoting this movie at work all the time, right?
Yeah. Like every day, mostly.
Yeah, I was planning on asking Ash what other types of movies he's into, because this guy really does need to watch a lot more movies. Like, he hangs out with us, he's going to see some interesting stuff. Like, seriously, if he's going to be in this podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at this. I mean, look at my goddamn DVD collection over here.
You got a big one, so do I.
Yeah, and I've got a very eclectic one. So, yeah, these kids are in for a ride. And I mean, if y'all are listening, Dakota, like, unfortunately, Dakota had a little incident. I hope that he's all right.
Yeah.
You know, we do hope that he pulls through, but we do wish him luck, and we hope to have both of them on the podcast here pretty soon. Hopefully so. So, yeah. But anyway, production of this movie, I mean, it's so tied into Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero's relationship together mainly, you know? Like, I mean, Sestero in many ways knew exactly what was being made here, much like everybody else in the crew. You know, they knew that this was a mountain of shit, and they were just trying to get through it because they were certain that this was not going to be seen by anyone. Right?
Yeah, they probably didn't think it was going to get done.
Honestly, I don't think that they thought that it was going to they were going to finish production. I mean,
even see the screen at all.
Because, I mean, Tommy Wiseau, he had a good little chunk of money that apparently he got from somebody.
Who knows where he got it?
I guess. Yeah. I mean, nobody actually knows where he got this money at all. It's very strange. You know, like, I mean, there's a lot of speculation about this movie. There's been speculation of it being like a money laundering scam, which, interestingly enough, I've heard that there's this one lost movie that's like a SpongeBob movie. It supposedly doesn't exist, but it's been seen as kind of a money laundering scheme. And I think there was some speculation that was the case with Food Fight, maybe. Like, I mean, I don't want to, like, defame anyone or anything, but, I mean, that's just, like, the general public speculation that I've heard. But, I mean, honestly, I think that this movie was totally sincere. Honestly, like, Wiseau was trying to make something that was, I guess, profound.
His masterpiece. I guess he calls it his masterpiece, right?
It's a masterpiece of something, man. Like, I mean... I don't know of what. I mean, it's coming from a place that is just beyond human reproach, honestly. I mean, it's something that only makes sense to Tommy Wiseau and Tommy Wiseau himself, you know? I mean, he himself, like, he doesn't even let people know his like nationality, or you know, or
where he's from.
Like, I mean, apparently he may be from Poland. Like, I mean, people aren't really sure about that. It might fit, but I mean, he's definitely somebody that seems to be kind of on all the time. You know, like basically the way that he's acting in this movie, that's pretty much just Tommy Wiseau.
That's him.
That's him. That's him all the way, right, Robert?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Jesus Christ. I've only seen it once, but...
I mean, you were also looking at a bunch of stuff on YouTube about it as well.
I was comparing it to James Franco's version.
Yeah, the
Tommy
disaster
Wiseau's.
of the disaster artist, which we will get into near the end of the podcast. It's like, that's definitely worth discussion. His directing and acting choices in this movie, I mean, it defies description. I mean, just like that infamous scene where he walks into the store, you know, and it's like this rapid fire exchange that just comes out of nowhere seemingly and makes little to no sense at all. It seems like just non sequitur after non sequitur after non sequitur, you know? I mean, it just doesn't. One premise doesn't follow from the last one. It doesn't follow from the last one. You know,
like makes no sense really.
No, absolutely no sense at all. But it makes all the sense in the world at the same time.
Can I have a dozen red roses, please?
Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't know it was you. Here you go.
That's me. How much is it?
It'll be $18.
Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy.
You're my favorite customer.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I mean, that's what's strange about everything that it went into this movie is that it's almost paradoxical. It's nonsensical, but makes sense at the same time. Tommy Wiseau's acting is incredibly emotional and void of any emotion at all. I mean, it just should not be, you know? But it is. It just is. And that's the same thing with Tommy Wiseau. He just is, you know? I mean, especially in the way that he wrote this movie. I mean, I'm not sure if he himself wrote this movie by himself. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. I think that
him and his friend Sestero.
Yeah, I think Sestero may have had a hand in it. I'm not exactly sure, you know, but I mean, just the dialogue alone, and then the plot holes that come up, man. I mean, you couldn't make stuff like that up.
Horrible writing. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, that's what's so surreal about the disaster artists, like the scenes that they recreated. I mean, it's not completely perfect down to the T as far as the sets are concerned, but it's still a real close approximation of it, as close as you can get, and it's almost creepy in a way. But I mean, even so, I mean, it just shows the weird kind of dynamic that Tommy Wiseau had as a writer, that even other actors managed to translate it that well, you know what I mean? It's like that's kind of a wonder in its own right. Like, what are your thoughts on that, Robert?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. That's really an appropriate response to this. I mean, in many ways, I've seen this movie so many times. I still don't know what the deal is with it, man. It still mystifies me to every day. And anytime any of the love scenes come up, the music itself just gets me right there. Like, I just start laughing my ass off. It's so perfect.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, and just the way that he wrote his characters, you know? I mean, just Mark and Lisa and Johnny themselves, just the main love triangle here. It's like nothing about that makes sense. I mean, Lisa has no reason to be in any type of, duress in her relationship.
Man, she's a bitch.
Yeah, she has no reason to be that way. I mean, it's like, if she doesn't love the man, what the fuck ever. But it's like she makes this huge, production of it.
Yeah, she's pretty much all about herself.
Yeah, but in many ways, Johnny's not necessarily an angel either. He wrote Johnny to be kind of, he meant him to be sympathetic, but he came across as more of a dick many times. Like when he just pulls a goddamn a tape recorder out of essentially hammer space, I guess. He just literally just pulls it out of his goddamn pocket.
Oh, he just happens to have it on him. Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? Is this motherfucker Bugs Bunny or something? Is he going to pull a goddamn anvil or just randomly pull the goddamn Roadrunner out? Like
maybe a sword right over his back.
The singing sword. Oh man. But seriously, I guess that's in a way an apt description. Like Tommy Wiseau himself has more of a cartoon character type personality in a way. Like he almost seems like he should be someone from a really crazy anime, right?
Like a Elmer Fudd type or
an Elmer Fudd type.
What's that other one? Dang.
Yosemite Sam. No, not Yosemite
Porky
Sam.
Pig,
Porky Pig.
stuff like that.
I don't think that he's anything like Porky Pig.
No.
He probably is a little more like Elmer Fudd
Elmer
if
Fudd.
he was just a little more daft. Like even more daft than Elmer Fudd. You know what I mean, right?
I think I do.
Yeah, but I mean other ways that he wrote this movie, like for instance, like just the scenes the plot holes that just come out of nowhere. They're not really plot holes. Well, no, yeah, they're definitely plot holes.
Just
I mean, they
repeating itself mostly.
just come up out of nowhere. They're never addressed again. And, it essentially repeats many of the same scenes over and over again, just with different contexts and different camera angles and whatnot. And
Exactly.
then it's literally just like dialogue, sex scene.
Horrible,
Weird dialogue, sex scene. It's like, I mean, it has, in a weird way, it's like an ebb and flow, but it's a linear and very repetitive ebb and flow.
Oh, and the way they're having sex. I mean, he's doing it with a rose. Like,
Yeah, we're going to get into that here in a little bit. I mean, that's worthy of discussion alone, honestly. But I mean, yeah, we already went over his financial backing and everything, but just this Tommy Wiseau's mannerisms just as a person in general. I mean, he has some very strange tics to it, right?
creepy.
Yeah, I mean, nothing that he does, nothing that he says, nothing that he acts is just natural in any way, even in real life. That's what's creepy about it.
So that's pretty much him.
Yeah, but in the end, he's Tommy Wiseau, and you just kind of accept it. You take it. And in a way, it's almost like John Waters in a sense, You know that this dude has made some very crazy movies in his life, but you just kind of take him as he is, And also, unfortunately, Tommy Wiseau has been a little bit litigious with his film lately, especially when it comes to certain film festivals asking to film his movie. Like, he's kind of skittish about how it's distributed and who actually gets to show his movie, And I mean, the movies themselves, these showings they're like huge events, not unlike the Rocky Horror Picture Show showings. People show up in costume, looking like Johnny and Lisa and everything. Like, they bring footballs, like. They tell Denny to fuck off.
Football scene, Jesus Christ.
They repeat all the quotes and everything. Like, it's something that I've been meaning to get to. Like, I mean, I just never know when there's a screening in San Antonio, but I would love to go to that.
Probably have to look that up.
Yeah, I mean, that would be so perfect, man. I mean, I've never been to a Rocky Horror Picture Show showing like that either. I mean, I'm sure that's quite an experience. I mean, people are kind of do the same thing there. But I mean, to me, I like The Room a little bit better because it at least tries to do something that's a little more realistic, at least. I mean, Rocky Horror Picture Show is kind of a mindfuck in its own right, but this is almost like a indirect mindfuck in a way, right?
Jesus.
It's like a backwards mindfuck. Like, it doesn't bring you to any type of enlightenment. It just kind of...
Yeah, there's like no point to this movie at all.
Yeah,
really.
Seriously, it just kind of numbs you down a little bit. It makes you dull and just like really... what's the word? Apathetic. But then all of a sudden, it just makes you feel joy and happiness just out of nowhere. It's like I said, that ebb and flow. Apathy, joy. Apathy, joy. Apathy, joy. That's pretty much what this shit is, man.
You're tearing me apart.
Everybody betrayed me. I hate this world.
I hate this world.
Honestly, Tommy, we really love you if you are listening to this. We're not ragging on you. We do love this movie.
Great stuff.
Oh, hi, Susan.
Well, hi, Johnny. How are you? Good to see you. What would you like?
Hot chocolate, please.
What size you have?
Medium, please. Sure.
How about you?
I'll have the mint tea.
Okay.
Medium also?
Yeah.
Just go sit down. We'll be right
you.
there.
Man, I'm so tired of girls' games.
What happened now, Mark?
Relationships never work. I don't know why waste my time.
What makes you say that?
It's not that easy, Johnny.
Well, you should be happy, Mark.
Yeah, I know. Life is too short.
Oh, thank you, Susan.
You're welcome. How about something like cheesecake?
No.
That's
Real good. All right.
How was work today?
Oh, pretty good. We got a new client at the bank. We'll make a lot of money.
What client?
I cannot tell you. It's confidential.
Oh, come on. Why not?
No, I can't. Anyway, how is your sex life?
Can't talk about it?
Why not?
Take your time.
Oh, God, I have to run.
Already?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, Tommy.
Yeah. See you.
See you, Mark. Should we go jogging?
Yeah,
Golden Gate Park?
sure. What time?
Golden Gate Park, 6:30.
Right on. Yeah.
All right. See ya.
Okay, okay.
The other actors in this film, like Greg Sestero, man, he in his own right, I mean, he makes this movie just so much more interesting, I think. I mean, it's not what I would call a great performance, but he's one of the few actors that at first he tries to be a little bit competent, but then eventually he just checks out, you know. You can tell eventually he's just checked out, right?
Sleazy scumbag friend of his, I guess.
Yeah, as far as the character, yeah, it shows in the character, like he just becomes more nonchalant about it, and then eventually at the end, it's just like, I'm sure that's both his character and Greg Sestero just saying, well, okay, fuck it, whatever, let's just end this already. I mean, what would you do if you were involved in this, man? I mean,
Yeah, I would have ended with the gunshot scene. Right at the end,
you would.
It sounded like they were just.
But I'm talking about just dealing with someone like Tommy Wiseau, period. Like, how would you deal with that? I mean, you're an aspiring filmmaker. I mean, you would be on a film crew, I'm sure. Like, what would you do if you were on this film crew?
Damn.
Like, you think that, like, how would you say to just...
Probably just get to know him and see what he's all about, and then see if I can try to become his friend.
That's what the crew tried to do, but everything just kind of mystified them, apparently.
Almost like a family formed right there.
Yeah. Yeah, like Tommy Wiseau directed an episode of Tim and Eric Awesome Show, Great Job, that honestly it's fantastic. I recommend everybody, if you don't have the DVD or if you haven't streamed it off of adultswim.com, I mean, I generally check it out. It's really, really funny. It's really great. And it's just Tommy Wiseau being Tommy Wiseau. And Tim and Eric being Tim and Eric. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched that show, Robert.
No, I don't think
Not really.
No.
Oh, man, you're missing, like, the best alternative comedy ever.
Yeah, I'm missing a lot of stuff.
Seriously, you're missing out on some good shit right there. Like, I mean, I wish that it's like they actually have a movie. Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie.
Really?
Which we should totally do on the show. Like, 100%. That's definitely going to be a future episode.
Future. Okay.
Yeah.
Another time later for that.
But also, I mean, Robin Paris, she played Juliette Daniels. That's Lisa's best friend. Like, she's kind of become a little bit of an internet icon in her own right. Like, I mean, she recently released a series based off of The Room that's almost like a Where Are They Now kind of, as far as the characters are concerned. And it actually was pretty interesting. Like, I haven't actually seen it, but I want to check it out. But
it's on Twitter or something, right?
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, you can find her on Twitter, and also, I mean, she does some stuff on the podcast circuit as well.
Nice.
Like, she does some interviews and some guest spots and everything. I mean, if we were a little more prominent, I would reach out to her and I would say, like, hey, Skype us or whatever, like, or maybe
give us a review, right?
Or maybe Tommy Wiseau.
Oh.
But I don't know how I would handle interviewing him, man. It's like I would be too tempted to talk to him like this and just completely say, "Oh, ha ha ha, hi, Johnny."
Hi.
It's like cheep. It's like I would be too tempted to troll him. Like, I'm sorry, I love Tommy Wiseau, I love this movie, but I would just be too tempted to just go all out with it, right?
Yeah, it'd be hilarious.
Oh man, it would be like the funniest thing ever. Like, did you see? Like, he has an audition tape where he did Heath Ledger's Joker.
It's right here on
YouTube.
Oh
my god, it's like the most amazing thing ever. Like, I mean, we should probably provide a link to it on the show notes. Like, it's really just
Joker audition.
So out there. Oh man, it's perfection.
Don't worry.
You can trust me. Your secret is safe with me.
Hello, Michelle. I heard you. What secret?
It's between us women.
Hi, Johnny.
Did you get a new dress?
Well, I guess I better be going. I'll just talk to you guys later.
Excuse me.
Lisa, remember what I told you.
What's she talking about?
It's girl talk. I just told you that.
I never hit you. You shouldn't have any secrets from me. I'm your future husband.
You sure about that? Maybe I'll change my mind.
Don't talk like that. What do you mean?
What do you think? Women change their minds all the time.
You must be kidding, aren't you?
Look, I don't want to talk about it. I'm gonna go upstairs and wash up and go to bed.
How dare you talk to me like that? You should tell me everything.
I can't talk right now.
Why, Lisa? Why, Lisa? Please talk to me, please. You're part of my life. You are everything. I could not go on without you, Lisa.
You're scaring me.
You are lying. I never hit you. You are tearing me apart, Lisa.
Why are you so hysterical?
Do you understand life? Do you?
Don't worry about it. Everything will be all right.
You drive me crazy.
Good night, Johnny.
Don't worry about it. I still love you. Good night, Lisa.
I bet it was the best way that he could express himself is by making this film.
Oh, yeah. I mean, certainly. It was definitely his vision. You know, I mean, whatever that vision is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what vision is to Tommy Wiseau. I imagine that there's waves of colors and there's interesting little goblins that will run all over the place. And I'm sure that he makes many, many different friends, even though and then he wonders why they all betray him. It's terrible.
But that is the whole point, the whole goal the whole time is just, finish your masterpiece.
Finish your masterpiece. I mean, yeah.
Even if it's only one time.
In many ways, it's really an inspiring movie. It just shows you that, you know what, even if somebody like this can get together some money and make a film like this, I mean, even making so many mistakes along the way,
yeah.
I mean, it really shows that, I mean, you can just take your iPhone and make something interesting,
Something unique and great. And
yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, who was it that said that the best way to learn how to make a movie is just to make a movie?
John Carpenter.
John Carpenter? I mean, seriously, it's kind of like that. And his movie was pretty much an indie movie. Like we already went over that on the second episode of the podcast. But I mean, Juliette Daniels, she played Lisa in the film, and she was only 18 years old when she first started this movie. And the very first scene that they actually did was the main love scene between Johnny and the sex scene between Johnny and Lisa.
With the rose. It's like they're having sex with a rose instead of each other.
Oh my God. And the belly button fucking. It's absolutely incredible to me. Like, it's almost as if, Tommy Wiseau has never actually really had sex.
That's what it looks like.
It's really what it looks like. It's like, that's not how human beings have any kind of relations at all. Like, even like with the flowers and everything. Like, I can tell you, I've never had any kind of sexual experience with a bunch of flowers around. I can tell you that right now, not once, not ever. Right?
Yeah, I don't think I have.
I don't,
something in movies, really, mostly.
Yeah, that's just not something that most people do, honestly. And besides, have you seen how expensive flowers are anyway?
It's fucking expensive, dude.
Fucking ridiculous. But then again, the character Johnny, he's a banker in the film. You know, I mean, so supposedly he can afford that stuff. Like, he's pretty much bringing Lisa like flowers every fucking day.
Every day, flowers.
Literally every day
For 7 years, right?
But never chocolates. No, chocolates is for Robin Paris's little boyfriend. You know,
Jesus.
It's like, you know, chocolate is the symbol of love.
Who wrote that?
Oh yeah, we all know who
Tommy
wrote that.
Wiseau.
We all know who wrote that. It's like, no, that's I don't know, man. That could be an ad lib, which would be hilarious if it wasn't for the fact that he's obviously trying to remember his lines.
Exactly.
Hello. Let's have some fun.
Did you know that chocolate is the symbol of love?
Feed me. Yum.
It's delicious.
Which occurs a lot in this film. I mean, from a few people.
You can tell.
You can tell. I mean,
It's
I
not
think
really acting most.
I mean, I think that Denny forgets his lines here and there. I mean, of course, there's the I did not hit her scene, you know, which supposedly took a bunch of takes for Tommy to do. Tommy couldn't even remember the goddamn lines in his own script, his own movie. I mean,
Jesus.
What does that say? You know, and and I think there was a few times where Juliette Daniels may have kind of was just a little monotone, and of course, you know, Greg Sestero just checked out by near the end of the movie. By the time of the end of the production, you know,
As soon as he shot himself in the head. Oh, I'll see you later.
no, it's almost like near the end of the movie when it's like Sestero's character Mark, like both him and the actor just said fuck it, and they're just like, you know what? It's like, let's just do this. I mean, seriously. I mean, I think I may have said that earlier.
I may know more than you think I know, Mark. Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Straight up fucking making out with his fiance in front of him. It's like, who does that?
At his birthday party.
At his birthday party. It's almost like Tommy Wiseau, when he was writing that, he just had to just heap tragedy upon tragedy. Like, just the first things that he could think of is like, oh yeah, he's making out with his fiance at his birthday party.
Yeah, I guess they wanted a break mentally.
Only that would happen in the insane mind of Tommy Wiseau. Like, I mean, and what about Denny, dude? Like, that character, like, and his actor, it's like, that was meant to be a really endearing character, but he just comes across as crazy. You know, like, especially like at the beginning of the first sex scene where he just barges in. He's just like, I want to watch. It's like,
I like watching you guys.
I like watching you. It's like, you've been watching these people have sex? It's like, I mean, I don't know. I guess I would want to, if I saw these people having sex, I would stop for a second, but not just because I want to see it. I'd just be confused. I'd be like, wait, what?
What did you say?
It's like, homeboy, wait a second, dude. I just got to intervene, man. It's like, that's not how you do that.
It's like, how old are you, little kid?
Right? And what's with the kid watching? This isn't right, man.
That's how he gets off, just by watching.
Oh, God. It's like, I mean, and Diddy is he just looks like a little creepler. Just the performance, it's such a creepler performance. I mean, the actor is cool, man, and he's been very, apparently he's been a good sport about the whole thing. Pretty much everybody has been, even Tommy Wiseau. But, I mean, his character just really comes across as just maybe even a little bit mentally, you know, disabled a little bit.
I guess you would say, yeah.
I guess you would say just a little bit.
A little bit.
You know, I mean, and that would kind of explain why Johnny would adopt him, would be kind of paying all of his bills and everything. Which, of course, does not make sense when his character actually turns out to be selling drugs or being involved in drugs to make extra money. It's like, well, wait a second. Your room and board is taken care of, dude.
Yeah. I mean,
It's like, I'm sure you have enough money for spending cash. It's like, what are you doing selling drugs?
Like,
if
what?
anything, you should just be buying drugs. Buy some weed and smoke it.
buy weed, go to school.
Buy some weed and go to school.
Jeez.
It's like, what the fuck are you doing, kid? And of course, that leads to the scene with Chris R. You know, which was this dude that apparently his name is Dan Janjian or something like that, or Janjian.
The drug dealer?
Yeah, he's a Armenian dude. You know, and he really took this role seriously. He actually read up on method acting, and that's really the approach that he took to it. And honestly, his performance was seriously awesome. Like, I really like that. I really like what he does in that. I mean, he even scared everybody else that was acting in the film at that point. Like, he freaked everybody out with that performance. I mean, it's like, why couldn't that have happened throughout almost all the movie?
Why can't everyone do it like this guy? Jeez.
It's like, where's the competence, man? I mean, it's not, of course, it's not something I would even blame on the crew or anything. They tried to make some sense out of it.
Yeah.
You know, I think at one point he had a few people in the actual production crew kind of up and walk out on him.
It's like, what the hell is this? What am I reading here? Like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, seriously. And of course, I mean, there's Claudette, you know, the mother, Lisa's mother. I mean, the actress that played her, she actually suffered a heat stroke on set.
Right.
You know, like they had to stop filming and get her to the hospital and everything. And in The Disaster Artist, they kind of portrayed Tommy Wiseau as not really caring about it, but in real life, he actually stopped it and he was just like, "Oh no, we need to get her to the hospital."
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, yeah, I mean that's something we'll get into. Like, The Disaster Artist does take some artistic liberties with the story a little bit, but anywho, I mean, just the plot holes themselves. I mean, first off, you know, there's Claudette's breast cancer. Like, that is literally brought up in, like, almost in passing. It seems like a pretty major bit of information, and it's just swallowed up in the abyss of this movie, you know?
It's like they forget about she's got cancer.
Yeah, and of course, the other things becoming inconsequential, like, for instance, you know, Johnny's bank job. I mean, that eventually just, after he loses the promotion, I mean, it's never brought up again.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean,
and then it goes on to what Lisa wants.
Yeah,
which is
what Lisa wants, which is just this constant, repetitious abyss of nothing. I mean, that's really what that character is. I'm not going to blame the actress for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's very much a matter of writing and direction. But I mean, that's what she is. She's kind of a void in a way, right?
Freaking, what do they describe her as? A sociopath?
And that's, by the way, that's a Juliette Daniels. Like, I mean, she's fantastic in her own right, but in this movie, I mean, the character Lisa is a straight up bitch. It's like, I mean, she goes to some extreme lengths with Johnny, you know, with Tommy Wiseau's character. I mean, just first of all, saying that he hit her when clearly he didn't. I mean, we all see what happened. He just repeated the same love scene from before. That's all that happened. In all honesty.
Wait, Johnny doesn't drink.
Yeah, wait a minute. Johnny doesn't drink.
So
it's like, yeah, that's the one thing that she brings up that perks her ears. It's like, oh wow, it's like, yeah, let's not worry about domestic violence or anything like that. It's like, Johnny's drinking? Can you believe that? Johnny's drinking? But I mean, yeah, I mean, that's another plot hole that kind of goes nowhere, is the whole, you know, the immortal Johnny hit her, I did not hit her thing. It's like, that literally is dropped by the time that Johnny says, "Oh, hi, Mark." Oh, hi, Mark. That's pretty much when that is dropped. It's never brought up again.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hey, Johnny, what's up?
I have a problem with Lisa. She said that I hit her.
What? Well, did you?
No, it's not true. Don't even ask. What's new with you?
Well, I'm just sitting up here thinking, you know? I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You think girls like to cheat like guys do?
What makes you say that?
I don't know. I'm just thinking.
I don't have to worry about that because Lisa's loyal to me.
Yeah, man, you never know.
And of course, you know, the aforementioned scene with Chris R., the drug dealer. It's like they pretty much just cart him away, and minutes later, Johnny and Mark are back.
And it's the same rooftop too.
It's the same rooftop, yeah. And that's never brought up again. The whole drug use thing, I mean, nobody ever brings that up. Even as pissed off as Claudette is about the whole thing, you know, which is inexplicable in its own right. It's like, it didn't even say, like, you're not my fucking mother. It's like, yeah, lady, you're not his mother.
Yeah, let this kid go.
It's like, what are you doing accosting him? It's like, and then you grab him, that's assault. It's like, you can go to jail for that. It's like, take him away with Chris R. Take her away with Chris R., right? Straight up, man. Oh, my God.
What about the football scene?
Oh, the football scene? I mean, first of all, it's like one character that we left out was Peter, the psychologist. It's like he factors into a lot of those scenes where they're playing football, and there's also scenes where he tries to psychoanalyze his friends and try to help them that eventually is completely dropped because the actor had to leave the production, so he never comes back again, and that whole line of writing pretty much goes to shit.
Yeah, you know? The tuxedos.
And the tuxedos is like, that's inexplicable in its own right. Tossing, and they don't even toss the football correctly, right?
No, it's like underhanded or.
There's like no spirals at all. It's all underhanded. It's like, what are you guys doing?
We're playing catch.
We're playing catch. Ha 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 ha. And of course, this is where we first see the immortal cheap shit. Oh my God, that is something that I just love doing to people. Like, you adjust a chicken. Cheap.
So that's really him, right?
It's like, yeah, we're going to be doing that for like the next 3 or 4 months at work now. It's like, you just know it, man. We're just going to be doing that for ages. I mean, isn't that right? I mean, haven't you been kind of bringing up these quotes like at work and everything? Yeah.
I can't stop bringing them up.
It's incredibly quotable, man.
There's a whole fan base just for these quotes. Crazy.
I mean, just, you're tearing me apart, Lisa. That in its own right. I mean, it's so shittily delivered, but it's taken on a life of its own.
That's James Dean for that. Oh.
Yeah, it's that James Dean line, but it's just Tommy Wiseau makes it transcend James Dean a little bit. And
it's perfect, actually.
It's perfectly awful, though. That's what's amazing about it. It's perfectly awful. I mean, I don't know any clearer way to put it there. Right? I mean, how would you describe it?
That's the way they describe it. Like, what, the top 8 worst best films ever?
Oh, man. Like, up there with, like, Troll 2 and, like, what else? Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, Garbage Day. Yeah, we were watching a clip that had The Room on it. It had a bunch of these movies, and it did have Garbage Day. It's like, that's a fantastically bad movie, but it still can't stand up to You're Tearing Me Apart, Lisa.
Tearing Me Apart.
Or, of course, like the random, oh, I can't tell you that. That's confidential. So how's your sex life?
How's your sex life?
It's like, first of all, what business is it of yours? Second of all, why make it so non sequitur?
It's funny as
Why are you even going to bring it up after talking about bank shit? Right?
So forget about all your problems. Forget about all that. Let's just talk about this guy's sex life.
Just drop it. And of course, Mark does go into it. He doesn't say anything like, dude, what the fuck, right?
I would be like, what? You want to know how I'm fucking? Like,
it's like, what? You gonna ask me, what I do when I go in the bathroom and jack off? And something?
You want to know how many times I wipe my ass or something? Jeez.
Yeah, seriously, dude, what the fuck? It's like, I mean, I don't think that I'm ever that close with any of my friends, dude.
No,
like, Robert, I've never asked you anything that personal. Because, quite frankly, homie, I don't care as long as it's not illegal or any fucked up or anything.
Yeah.
Do whatever.
I don't care what you do, right?
Yeah, right? Seriously. But, I mean, the other quotes in this movie, even just from Mark, whenever he's about to have sex with Lisa, he just always questions it. It's like, dude, are you that dense? It's like, why are you doing this, Lisa?
She need to draw you a picture. Jeez.
It's like, and are you really that easily manipulated by this woman? It's like, I mean, really, she has that kind of spell on you?
I guess the sex is that good, right?
It doesn't even look like the sex is that good. That's the thing.
Doesn't even look like they're doing it
And
right.
I don't even know if that's really a Tommy Wiseau writing thing. I mean, just the characters themselves, they just don't look like they know how to have sex. But that could really be the writing, though. I mean, because that's just Tommy Wiseau not understanding human emotions or relations or just humanity in general, you know?
Oh yeah, he took that from HBO porn. Showtime.
Oh man, yeah, that's one of my pet theories about this movie.
That's
ultimately, is that it's a complete stealth parody of Skinemax style softcore porn films. I mean, that's something that so many of us grew up with. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, that was one of my first, exposures to anything sexual nature back in the day. It was, this was before the internet really took off. You had to go on Sneak Showtime or HBO or Cinemax After Dark. And they would have stuff like they've had like the Emmanuel movies, like they'd have like all kinds of stuff like erotic confessions.
There you go.
Yeah, and also like movies, like a lot of them with what's that? I don't remember her name, but I mean there were a lot of those types of movies that came out in the late '80s and early '90s. A lot of them were, especially after like Basic Instinct came out, and like a lot of them had like a lot of murder involved in it. It was very Basic Instinct. And that's kind of what Tommy Wiseau, I feel, kind of tapped into a little bit. That's why the sex scenes are so utterly ridiculous. So ridiculous, man. It's like, I mean, because in the end, when you really think about it, Skinemax softcore porn is inherently ridiculous. I mean, they're trying to get away with not showing actual sex while trying to be as sexy as possible. And that's it's absurd in its own right, really.
All you see
really
is
think
the
about
breast, really. That's all you see. But
yeah, pretty much. It's like there's not like there's straight full frontal. I mean, some of them has that, but usually, I mean, it's literally just titty films, pretty much. And it kind of comes across like that in the room all the time.
The old Playboy movies used to be, right? Like
I never watched any of the old
Pamela
Playboy.
Anderson. Like shower scenes, Pamela Anderson.
No, I never watched any of the old
Anna Nicole Smith, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've never watched the old Playboy movies.
Casa de Erotica, right?
But I'm sure that's probably also some kind of influence on this movie, knowing Wiseau, that motherfucker. Once again, Tommy, we love you, man. We love you, Tommy. Don't sue us. Please don't sue us.
Please don't sue us.
Please don't sue us. Oh, yeah, we know he's kind of, like I said, litigious. So tread carefully, folks.
Sometimes she's mean to me, but sometimes when I'm around her, I feel like I want to kiss her and tell her that I love her. I don't know. I'm just confused.
Danny, don't worry about that. Lisa loves you too, as a person, as a human being, as a friend. People don't have to say it. They can feel it.
What do you mean?
You can love someone deep inside your heart, and there is nothing wrong with it. If a lot of people love each other, the world would be a better place to live.
The sex scenes are legendary in their own right, and they are worthy of discussion because you can pretty much write an entire dissertation on everything that is not just wrong with this movie, just wrong with those sex scenes, man. Like we were talking about the Cinemax influence that's obviously there, but I mean, there's just certain things that makes it transcend that and just become absolute, almost satire in a way. It's almost satirical, right? Because all the mannerisms that you see in those Cinemax films, it perfectly comes together in those scenes. Which incidentally, Tommy Wiseau did repeat one of the original sex scene, the initial one from the beginning of the movie.
The second time they have sex.
It comes up again the second time that Johnny and Lisa have sex. Like, There was some rumor that it was because Juliette Daniels just would not get back into bed with Tommy Wiseau because Tommy Wiseau.
Creepy.
I don't think I would want him fucking humping on me either, dude.
For the second time, right?
Oh, yeah, but no second time there. It's like, I mean, and it's kind of why if you see the sex scenes with Greg Sestero, they're not nearly as graphic, honestly, I don't think. As graphic as they get in this film, you know.
Feels like she likes kissing him more.
Yeah, there's like one scene where they're pretty much just on the stairs, and yeah, it does seem to be erotic, but it's not really showing anything.
Nothing.
There's a little more that's shown in the next time that Lisa and Mark are together, but it's like in the end, it's just like it's the music that makes these scenes perfect. I mean, they were initially going to use Bon Jovi songs for this. That's what Tommy Wiseau initially wanted to use.
Wanted Dead or Alive.
Oh my God, could you imagine the first sex scene to that song? Could you imagine Wanted Dead or Alive? Well, Tommy Wiseau is belly humping that chick.
Playing tummy sticks.
Oh my God, man. No fucking way. It's like that would just be too much, dude. And that would have, I think that would have made it beyond legendary. It would have just made it like godlike. That would have been godlike right there, right?
It would have been perfect.
That would have been God level perfection right there. But the songs that we get are just these cheesy approximations of like 90s R&B slow jam type music. Like
early
we all, like most of us remember the commercials on television where they had a CD collection of slow jams. Like it had all this stuff like all these slow jams from like Keith Sweat and that All My Life song, All for One and Boys to Men and shit.
There you go,
Boys. It's like, Boys to Men. It's like, but I mean, there's a couple of, most of these songs mostly sound like TLC slow jams, don't they? Kind of sort of like they're trying to do TLC or like Tony Braxton or something like that. That it seems like that's kind of what they're going for. Like that You Are My Rose, You Are My Rose. That song.
Waterfalls.
It's like that every time I hear that and every time those scenes come on, I just immediately double down with laughter, man. It's hard to take them seriously, right?
Oh, it is. The first time I saw it.
It's incredibly difficult to take this shit seriously. Like, I mean, even like the scenes with Greg Sestero, I mean, the music just takes it to another level that honestly could only make sense when you're Tommy Wiseau. Like, seriously, that's just how Tommy Wiseau views the world, and that's how he views sex, apparently. Like, it's almost telling. It's almost kind of telling in a way, right? I mean, essentially, this movie was kind of autobiographical, because, I mean, apparently Tommy Wiseau did have a relationship that fell apart, and apparently his fiancée cheated on him. But, I mean, hopefully the sex scenes aren't autobiographical because I could not imagine being a woman and having to have to deal with that.
That's what she said. I had to deal with you.
Yeah, I had to
years.
deal with you for 7 years. It's like, yeah, exactly. That was her words. She dealt with him. And I have a feeling that being with Tommy Wiseau would be pretty much dealing with him. Dealing with him on a daily basis.
He's basically a problem.
just a problem. Like, once again, Tommy Wiseau, we love you, but I could just imagine dating Tommy Wiseau would be a nightmare, right? And this movie pretty much lays it out there, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What about the roses in the first sex scene, man? Like, I mean, he just brings it out and just starts kind of waving him and putting him in her face or something like that, or putting him on her body or something like that. Everything. What's great is that Tim and Eric Awesome Show, they did a parody of that kind of. Like, they did this scene where like this dude goes out and his wife is cheating on him at home, and it has this really cheesy fucking music and everything, and Like, it absolutely does not look like sex at all. It just looks weird and animalistic. It's perfection, man. Like, I need to show you it's sexual romance. If you ever go on YouTube, look up Tim and Eric sexual romance, and it is perfection, man. And if you love The Room, it just completely captures that feeling, as well as the Tommy Wiseau episode, which is awesome in its own right. Like, it's so fucking awesome.
Lisa's your future wife.
Danny, don't worry about it. You are part of our family, and we love you very much, and we'll help you anytime. And Lisa loves you too. As a friend, you are sort of like her son.
You mean you're not upset with me?
No, because I trust you and I trust Lisa. What about Elizabeth, huh?
Well... I love her.
Mm-hmm.
When I graduate from college, get a good job, I want to marry her and have kids with her.
That's the idea.
You're right. Thanks for paying my tuition.
You're very welcome, Danny. And keep in mind, if you have any problems, talk to me and I will help you.
Awesome. Thanks, Johnny.
Let's go eat, huh? Come on, let's go. Let's go. I'm starving. Let's work.
James Franco and Dave Franco were such fans of this movie that they decided that they were going to make a movie about the making of this movie. And that, of course, we're talking about The Disaster Artist, which came out last year to much acclaim, and unfortunately it didn't really pick up a whole lot, and it may have to do with some of the trouble that James Franco might be in with the Me Too movement, but that's a discussion for another day. But this movie... it was a pretty close approximation of not only what the film is like, but also apparently what the production was like. I mean, in many ways, like Tommy Wiseau and Sestero and most all the production crew, they did give this movie their blessing, you know? And it's played by a lot of modern comedic royalty. Like the three cast members of the How Did This Get Made podcast, Paul Scheer, June Diane Raphael, and Jason Mantzoukas, they're in this movie. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of that podcast.
No.
But I that's a little plug for them. I highly recommend you check out their podcast. It's hilarious. They talk about bad movies. They do it live most of the time, which hopefully we'll do soon.
Live shows. That'd be great.
Yeah, live podcasts, right? Wouldn't that be awesome?
Video live, too.
Yeah, live, but live on stage, dude.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what they do. They do this shit live on stage in front of an audience.
That's like Trailer Park Boy stuff.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome?
That's cool.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully, if you give us enough of a following, maybe we can do that. But yeah, they're in this movie. Seth Rogen, he played the main assistant director, I believe. I don't remember his name, but he's in this film. Of course, the Franco brothers, who is perfect.
Both of them.
Who played Juliette Daniels, a.k.a. Lisa, in this film? Who was that? That's another prominent comedian.
I have no idea.
No idea. Yeah, look that up real quick. Once again, the superlative research skills of Collateral Cinema at work here, ladies and gentlemen. We always have to bring that up. It's like we are silly stoners. You know how it is. 420 friendly podcast and all. But, I mean, this movie... it was originally based off of Greg Sestero's book, which really told the full-on uncut story, or at least Sestero's version of the story of how this film was made. And like it, R.E. Greener, yeah, that's the lady that played Juliette Daniels and Lisa in The Disaster Artist, and she did a superlative job. Yeah. Honestly, like playing both the actress and Lisa in the remake scenes, which there is a video on YouTube which shows them side by side practically, and they are perfect. It's really spot on, man. It's like it almost makes you wish that they would have just went ahead and remade just did a full version of The Room with James Franco and R.E. Greener and everybody.
It's exactly
and
the same.
That's exactly the same, and release that. That would be such perfection. It would be a perfect homage to this film, which I mean, just the movie alone is a great homage to it, you know, Disaster Artist. I mean, it's really, really cool that the Franco brothers decided to do that, and they really got close to Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero. After.
Zac Efron's in Disaster
Yeah,
Artist.
Zac Efron is in
I
it.
didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Doesn't he play, he plays Denny, right? He plays the guy that played Denny.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, that's awesome. Zac Efron is, he recently directed a movie that, I don't know, it wasn't that good. Going in Style. I don't think it was that great. But he's definitely a funny actor. I mean, he's from
hilarious.
What is he from? He is from Scrubs, right? Originally, right? No, that's Zach Braff.
Zach Braff.
That's somebody else. In fact, I think the movie that I mentioned is Zach Braff.
Efron?
I'm sorry, Zach Efron. My bad, dude.
He's
My
like
bad.
High School Musical dude.
Yeah, High School Musical. It's like, well, that's good to see him getting some work like this. You know, it's always good to see some former Disney people, you know, make steps into more adult roles, you know?
Yeah.
Like that movie last night we saw with Selena Gomez and Ethan Hawke.
Jesus Christ, bad acting.
Oh, that was
on her
terrible.
part.
That was terrible, man. I don't know what the fuck that was.
We're talking about The Getaway.
The Getaway, yeah. That was basically car porn, and even the ending of the movie was
Car
pretty
porn.
much just
Did you notice
car
how I
porn.
got off on it?
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
damn.
It's like, yeah, this guy is a total car nut sitting across from me, and yeah, he was just getting off on this movie 100%. But the acting in that film is just, you know.
No.
But like I said, it's good to see Zac Efron in this film, you know, and James Franco's performance of Tommy Wiseau. Oh my God, man! It's like he just channeled him perfectly. Even got some prosthetics made to kind of approximate Wiseau's look. You know, that weird sullen face.
He looked just like him. Yeah.
He really did. You know, and I mean, Greg and Dave Franco as Sestero. I mean, it was kind of weird because, you know, Dave Franco is not nearly as tall as Greg Sestero. He's not even nearly the same frame as Sestero, right?
No.
There's just no way, but somehow he pulls it off. I don't know how he did it, but he pulled it off, you know? Now, I still haven't seen The Disaster Artist.
Neither have I.
Neither have I. Like, we really do need to see it. Like, I did go ahead and I went on tvtropes.org, which, yeah, of course, that's our bread and butter right there. We should be researching on that all the time, Robert.
All right.
Sorry, I have to put my foot down, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes I have to put my foot down, keep him in line, right?
Yeah, gotta do that. Do our homework way more.
But I think that The Disaster Artist is something that will warrant its own episode of the podcast pretty soon, honestly, because, I mean, it was nominated for a Golden Globe. I mean, I don't remember if it was nominated for any Academy Awards. Like, there was a huge push for it, but once again, the whole trouble that Franco was in kind of scuttled that. But wouldn't it have been amazing if Tommy Wiseau would have been at the Academy Awards?
Jesus Christ!
What do you think would have happened? That would have been like a paradigm shifting event, right?
Jeez, I don't even know what would happen.
In its own right, that would have been incredible. I mean, of course, you know, Sestero and Wiseau, they have a movie that they're making together. It's like, I mean, I don't remember what it's called. It's Good Neighbor or something like that. Something to that effect. I mean, if anybody wants to correct me on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, go right ahead. It's like, leave a comment. But it's actually pretty highly anticipated because it's Greg Sestero and Tommy Wiseau working together in a movie, and they're acting together. And ultimately, the way that this was adapted into the production of The Room was adapted into the movie, namely the Disaster Artist book. I mean, it was really because James Franco and Dave Franco, they were just such huge fans of this movie, and this was their passion project in a way, which is kind of interesting because The Room was a passion project for Tommy Wiseau. You know, I mean, what do you think, dude?
Jesus.
Like, more than Jesus, bro.
I don't know.
In this movie,
what I'm thinking the whole time is, how did they pitch the idea to Hollywood or whatever?
See, once again, that goes back to who the fuck actually fronted the money for this.
Who wanted this movie made?
People still don't know. people are still mystified as to why this movie was made, and or how he got why it was made, just how it was made, and how he got the money for it.
If you
because he literally just showed up with like $5 or $6 million as an initial investment, and of course he took that money and went and bought 2 different cameras, which not even movie studios, like especially small ones, buy their own equipment. They almost always rent it.
Yeah.
And he shot this movie with like 35 millimeter and HD side by side. Like he filmed them both with different cameras and just ended up using the 35 millimeter cut of the film. All of that footage was just used in the movie, and that kind of gives it its almost otherworldly feel, you know. Like if you want to give like some type of fan theory that there's some supernatural thing going on, like it's purgatory or whatever. I mean, it kind of fits a little bit, right? I mean, what do you think?
I have no idea. I lost my place.
You lost your place. Oh man, that's what we have that for, man.
Okay, who here can really reveal themselves to the class? Anybody?
I'll go. Don't talk about me, not to class, not to anybody.
Yeah, no, of course.
Sharp on time, try not to fall asleep, everybody.
Am I hearing an accent?
Oh, no, what we're doing.
How old are you?
No, why not Greg age?
You're 19? Yeah. I just turned 14.
Wow, happy birthday. This is my movie, and this is my life. You're not Greg. You and me, we're all the same.
Oh yeah, how's that?
We both have this dream that we'll be famous.
Yeah, I guess we do.
You have a malevolent presence. You are a perfect villain.
I could see you as Dracula, Frankenstein.
I'm not Frankenstein. I am hero.
Why give them job? I give them salary. I would spend $5 million on this movie, Greg.
Are you kidding me? $5 million?
And they are not grateful. Nobody respects my vision.
Where were you born, Tommy?
Greg, that's not part of the scene.
You want an easier question? Where does the money come from, huh?
Stop, this is on camera.
I know it's on camera just like you want it.
I do this whole movie for you, Greg.
Can we just take it again? Try to lose the accent.
The rules to the club are simple. And the quiet, let me forward with dark.
Well, in the end, I think that with that note, that's probably time to seek into our final thoughts. What are your final thoughts on the movie, man?
I actually want to watch it a few more times.
Oh man, you're gonna want to watch it more than a few more times, dude. Like seriously, I've watched it several times since it was first shown on Adult Swim. I tried to buy a DVD of it straight from TommyWiseau.com, and I never got my DVD. Tommy, if you're listening, I never got my DVD.
Jeez.
I want my fucking DVD. Damn it.
We should be suing you, okay?
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, exactly. I want my DVD. I spent $30 goddamn on that shit.
$30 and nothing came?
Nothing came.
Just.
So, Tommy, I love you, man, but please give me my DVD already. And if you sign it to Collateral Cinema Movie Podcast. But my final thoughts on this movie is that it is absolutely the greatest thing that has ever been made by anyone in any way ever, period, in the history of Hollywood. That's it.
Especially what they're doing now.
It's an amazing stroke of genius, and anybody that says otherwise is an obstreperous asshole. And you deserve to be knocked in the head with a dozen footballs by dudes in tuxedos. Right? I mean, what would you do if you were saw a gang of dudes in tuxedos with footballs going, start throwing them at you?
Yeah, I prefer for an album cover or something.
Yeah, right? That would be a great album cover, right?
Molly Crew album cover.
Bunch of dudes with tuxedos and footballs in their hands. That would make a great video, right?
Yeah.
Video that references the room.
Fuse TV.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is the greatest thing in the history of humanity ever. It's like, behold Tommy Wiseau's mastery. He is Nicolas Cage is not the one true God. Tommy Wiseau is the one true God. The one true God, Robert.
You only get one shot, and I guess he utilized that.
He didn't. This is his one shot. Like, in all seriousness, I mean, this really goes to show you that, if you want to make a movie, make it happen. By any means necessary.
No matter how bad or whatever.
Seriously. I mean, we're actually going to get into some filmmaking ourselves here pretty soon. Like, I'm going to helm the sound editing and sound design and everything.
In the near future, yeah.
Yeah, in the future. So, I mean, yeah, watching this movie, it does kind of get the gears moving a little bit.
It's the creative juices flowing.
Yeah,
right?
It does. It gets those juices flowing. And, once again, I did not hit her. That is bullshit. I did not.
I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. We totally botched that up. But ladies and gentlemen, this was a total joy. I completely enjoyed talking about this movie. Robert, you should.
Oh, I've only seen it one. More. I'm not as enthused as you are. I need to see it more, I guess.
Oh, how can you not be enthused just by seeing it once? It's the most amazing thing ever, man. All right. I guess that sums it up right there. So, what's going to be on the next episode of the podcast, Robert? You're choosing the next episode, right?
It's going to be Death Proof.
Death Proof by Quentin Tarantino. I actually saw that movie in the theaters with the full Grindhouse experience, trailers and everything, like intros and everything. It was very unique. It was very different, and I'm really, really glad that I saw it like that. So, and Death Proof was the stronger movie of the two. Planet Terror is cool in its own right, for a Robert Rodriguez film, which he's pretty cool. But Quentin Tarantino's movie is just very transcendental, very action-packed, and honestly, I can't wait to dive into it, man. I honestly can't wait. Kurt Russell, Rosario Dawson's in it.
Yeah,
right?
she is.
Yeah, she's in that film. It's like Zoe Bell.
Those two stunt girls. Right?
Oh yeah, man, that's an amazing movie. But we're going to get into that in the next episode. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We had a lot of fun doing this episode. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes, I think, YouTube, and we're also on WordPress and Tumblr. Oh, and Stitcher, if I didn't...
No, you didn't say that.
I didn't say Stitcher. Okay, right on. And please, by all means, leave us a comment on our Podbean. Leave us a comment on our Facebook. It's like, tell us if you know any better about this movie. And tell us if we're acting like a bunch of fucking idiots or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Collateral Cinema out.
Bye, guys.
Laters. Collateral Cinema is an El Company production. All music and movie clips are owned by their respective creators. Please don't sue us. We're poor.